Hi, this is Steve Nicollerat with Coach Baseball Right. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about competition. So if you're older than 40, you probably remember that back then there were teams you really had to try out for. And there were times when if you made a team and you didn't perform well, somebody else got a chance to play and maybe you had to sit. Um, there were I guess more or there were less spots than kids. So we had to compete against ourselves. We had to compete against other guys on the team just to be able to compete in the game. Well, today things are a little bit different, and I think we have to help our kids understand what competition is. You know, there's a lot of opportunities to play ball for almost every kid who wants it, and that in itself is not a bad thing. That's a good thing. But what happens sometimes is this. Um, Kids get the feeling that competition is how they feel about their performance today against a certain pitcher that they face. So they went 1 for 4 and they're so-so. They go 0 for 4, they're disappointed. They go 3 for 4, they're real happy. But there's no ramification if you go 0 for 4 2 or 3 days in a row. Now, in the old days, if you went 0 for 4 a couple days in a row, somebody else is going to play. But today, there's 12 and 13 kids on a team, and kids are on vacation. And in many cases, again, not all, I understand that, but in many cases, some of our young kids today, the only competition they sense is their happiness of a great day or their disappointment in going 0 for 4 or 0 for 5 in a game. But they know tomorrow they're going to be out there. So what happens sometimes, I know in my program and certainly in college programs, is if a guy gets a shot and he doesn't play well, somebody else is going to replace him. And for kids, that's hard to accept because they've never been in that spot before. But that's the real world. That is what competition is all about. Many years ago, a good friend of mine, a parent, asked to have lunch with me, and he told me a story. He says, Steve, my son felt a little bit of pressure when he played for you, but he never felt that way in the summer. And I listened to him, and he was a good guy asking a fair question. And the bottom line is, the reason that there was pressure to play was that I had 25 guys on my team. So if you went 0 for 4 a couple days in a row, somebody else is probably going to get a shot. Where in the summertime, if he went 0 for 4 a couple days in a row, it was not that big a deal. Other than the disappointment that he had of not performing in the game, the boy would still be able to play in the next game because there's 12 or 13 kids on the team. So sometimes I think we have to be careful and try to articulate what competition is, what it really is, not what the kids think it is. So anyway, I hope this helps. I hope it gets you thinking. I hope if you're coaching kids, maybe you can take the time to articulate some of those thoughts and maybe make it a better experience for the kids. Don't forget to check out some great stuff at CoachBaseballRight.com.